everyone, my name is Zoranne and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be ranking all of the fantasy books that I read in 2022. One of my favorite videos to watch on BookTube are tier list videos. My favorite tier ranking videos come from Daniel Greene, and since I started my YouTube channel this year, I decided why not try making a tier ranking video myself? So that's what we're doing today. We're sitting down and we're going to be ranking every single fantasy book that I read in 2022.
Let's get started with tier ranking all of the fantasy books I read in the year of 2022. This is a mostly exhaustive list because I have read a lot this year. I read over 100 books. Over half of them were fantasy. We've got a good mix of young adult and adult, a few romantasy rec, a few sequels in there. I did not include fantasy books that I reread for the sake of time, and also if I reread them, I probably already loved them. To me, there's no real reason to rank them. Let's get started. I think we've got a good bag here, and I'm excited to see where these lie. This is the first time I've ever done a tier list ranking. Let's hang out, sit back, grab a cup of coffee or tea or a beveragino, and let's rank some fantasy books. These books are in no particular order. Let's get started. First book we've got is Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. I finally got around to reading the Throne of Glass series this year. I have to say, Crown of Midnight is my least favorite book in this series. I'm confidently going to put it in the C tier. So if you know, you know. I just think it's like a pointless book. Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight could have been combined, but like that's a discussion for another time. Okay, next one is Malice. I discovered John Gwynne this year, and if you don't know, he's my dad. Not really. No, but he's quickly become one of my favorite authors of all time, and The Faithful and the Fallen is a new favorite series. I'm currently reading Wrath right now. This is confidently going to go in A. It's gonna get moved around. I'm gonna put it there first. All right, A Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan. These are the memoirs of Lady Trent. It's kind of like a Victorian era fantasy version of Great Britain, and this woman tries to study dragons because they exist, but she can't because she's a woman, and women can never do anything, especially when they have husbands. This was a lot of fun. It was very cozy, and I liked it a lot more than I expected to, and I'm excited to go on with the rest of the series. I'm gonna put this in B. Like, it's good. It's good. Like, B is not a bad place to be. It's good. Queen of Shadows. Oh, this is a good one. This is when shit starts to like pop off in this series. I really liked Queen of Shadows. I don't want to say it's like quite A tier, but obviously it's gonna go... Okay, these can be moved around later. That's fine. These can be moved around later, but it's gonna go in A. This could be moved down to B. I don't know. Or it could be like bottom of A. Oh, The Kiss of Deception. I finally read the Remnant Chronicles this year, and they were recommended to me by a dear friend Jenna on TikTok, Jenna's Lit Pics. I did not expect to love these so much. I inhaled this trilogy, and I only included the first book for time's sake. This is also gonna go... I think I'm gonna go top of B right now. Like I said, B is not a bad place to be. Very solid YA fantasy series. Valor by John Gwynne is the second book in The Faithful and the Fallen. I loved it even more than Malice, so it's gonna go easy, top of A. Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. This is the novella in the Throne of Glass series. It's also gonna go in B. I think it's an underrated book. People either love it or hate it, or they even skip it entirely. Don't skip it, okay? It's important. All right, solidly in B. Heir of Fire. Okay, I like this less than Queen of Shadows, but this is like where the series really starts to heat up, and I feel like this is also where the books take a turn from where the original plot of the books took place. I'm not saying anything new about Throne of Glass. It's been read a million times and discussed a million times. This is gonna go top of B. Okay, Ruin by John Gwynne. This is the third book in The Faithful and the Fallen. I really enjoyed this one. It's probably my favorite. So, is this our first S tier book? Oh my god, I think it is. If anyone was wondering, I'm currently recording this in my brother's bedroom because he's the only person who has a desktop in this house. Ooh, Empire Storms. This is my favorite Throne of Glass book. It's gonna go... So far, this could be shifted around. Like I said, it's going to go in the A tier, but in front of Queen of Shadows, behind Malice. Tower of Dawn, another one. I personally really like Tower of Dawn. I would have read a whole book about Nesryn and Sartak. I really enjoyed it. I don't know why people skip it. I mean, I know why people skip it because they either love or hate Chaol. I like him. I really enjoyed this book. Is it A though? Oh God. I'm going to put it... Okay. Second in B. There we go. I feel better about that. Oh, Murderbot. Oh, I discovered this series this year and I read the first 2 books. And they are a ton of fun. Sentient AI, hacks his own government unit. Very quick novellas. They're great. Can't recommend those enough. Kingdom of Ash. Oh, God. I think this is going to go behind Tower of Dawn and B tier. Skyward, I just read this with my Fantasy and Friends book club in December, and this was so much fun. It is going to go confidently in A. I loved this. I can't wait to read more. Okay, so I'm sorry there's so much SJM. House of Sky and Breath, second Crescent City book. Top of B right now because I got things to say about this. Dragon Republic, also gonna go, it's gonna go in A behind Skyward. Blade Breaker, this is the second book in the Realm Breaker trilogy by Victoria Aveyard. It's like a young adult Lord of the Rings, except the main band of characters is the JV team because the varsity team got slaughtered in the prologue of Realm Breaker. That's not a spoiler. This is a really fun series, and if you love world building, I'll put this in A tier, yeah. Oh, Gideon Nav. Griddle, how I love you. Oh, I loved Gideon. I had no idea what the heck was going on in Gideon the Ninth, but I really loved it. Okay, this is also gonna go in A. It's gonna go in A behind Skyward. Not John Gwynne taking the top 3 spots so far. Oh shit. Sword of Kagan, my love. Oh, this is one of my favorite books of the year, favorite books ever. It's a standalone. The Sword of Kagan is a standalone epic fantasy. It's absolutely insane if you ask me. I recommend it all the time on all of my social media platforms. And if you take one book recommendation from me ever, make it The Sword of Kagan. Crescent City 1. Okay, guys, I really liked this book. I'm gonna put it behind Skyward. No. I'm going to put it behind the Dragon Republic because I like that series too. Yeah, this feels good. Okay, Foundry Side. This was another Fantasy and Friends book club pick. I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna put it behind Crescent City. Fortuna Sworn. This is a new adult romantasy series. That's very much like if you like ACOTAR, you will like this. Like, it was fine. I'm gonna put it in the top of C. I recommend it, but like, I wasn't scrambling to read the next book, if that made sense. The Burning God. For pure emotional damage, I'm putting this in S tier right now, but that could change. Also, S tier, one of my favorite finds of this year. This was my first John Gwynne book, and it deserves to be an S tier because it is absolutely insane. It's just so fucking good. It's Norse inspired. It made me realize how much I love reading action sequences, especially when they're really like close combat, when they're really like intimate and it's very, you get every little detail. So good. And John Gwynne does that really well. House in the Cerulean Sea. Oh, this was a very cozy read. I'm gonna put this bottom of A solidly. The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. This one really surprised me this year because I'm really picky with my YA fantasy and I really loved this. It shocked me. It was just like another book that had really great close combat scenes, murderous main characters fighting for revenge in their world. You gotta love it. Okay, this is gonna go in the middle of A. Oh my god, A Court of Silver Flames. Make it stop. I actually finished this morning at 4 a.m., but do not confuse this with me being obsessed with it. Confidently going in the bottom of B because what plot? No, it was nonsense. But it goes into B tier solely for Nesta's character arc. Oh my god, The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez. Okay, I take it back. If you take 2 book recommendations from me this year, let it be The Spear Cuts Through Water and The Sword of Kagan. Top of S tier. Top. One of the best books I've ever read. It is so beautifully executed and crafted, and it literally transcends reading. It's not a book you read, but it's one you experience, and honestly, I feel like it might need its own video because it changed my brain chemistry. I don't know how else to put it. Oh my god, it is just such an amazing book. The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reed. This is her debut. I'm going to put this in B. I'm going to put this in B. It feels good. A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. Oh, this is another good one. I'm going to put this in S. Nope, that feels good. The Bone Orchard by Sarah A. Muller. This is one I haven't seen talked about very much, but it's a gothic horror that I actually really enjoyed. It's not one I remember too much about, but like I remember really liking the reading experience I had while reading it. It's very kooky, it's weird, not a lot of plot, a lot of vibes. I'm also going to put this in B, probably here. That feels good. Daughter of the Moon Goddess is really great. Sulan Tan is one to watch. And you know what? I'm already going to pick up Heart of the Sun Warrior, and I'm going to put that. Hello, Editing Zoranne here, and I just decided to save everyone the time, including myself, instead of re-recording, just to take a screenshot of the final tier list and do a little voiceover telling you how it went. This video was a ton of fun. As you can see, my favorite books of the year were The Spear Cuts Through Water, Babel, and The Sword of Kaigan. I'm also including The Hunger of the Gods in there just because John Gwynne kind of ran the show this video. But this is the best I could do. I hope y'all don't mind, and I'm going to transition you back to the video.
There you have it. Those are all of the fantasy books I read this year, ranked out. I think I did a pretty good job. Let me know what you think in the comments. What was your favorite book that you read this year, fantasy or not? What was your least favorite book you read this year? What book are you looking most forward to in 2023? I want to know. Honestly, comment anything. If you like my content, please consider liking and subscribing and following me on my other social media platforms. I am most active on TikTok and Instagram if you want to keep up to date with me. And I'm just having a really good time here, so I hope you are too. And I will see you in the next video, which is going to be my favorite reads of 2022. I will see you in the next one. Bye, friends.